Welcome back to Structured Product Management Thinking, and I'm your host, Kurt Van Etten. So for the last couple modules, we've been talking about agile execution and agile metrics. And now we need to go and make sure that people are aware of our product and our product is fully supported when we go to launch it. And this is going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of coordination. So we're going to need to put that cross-functional team back together, and hopefully this cross-functional team has been with you for a while already, and you know them by name. And so we're going to put the team together and we're going to develop a launch plan. And so let's go through each of those things that all those team members are going to need. So let's start with marketing. So marketing, you need to make sure that we're aligned on the messaging, and we also need to make sure we're aligned on the deliverables. Maybe you think this is the most important feature in the world and you want a press release and you want to go all out. Maybe they think it's a tier 3 launch and really we're just going to do some webinars and put some collateral together. And hopefully you've agreed on this much earlier on in the business case, but you want to confirm that. The best practice here is creating a product management to product marketing turnover document. This has been very effective for me in my career. And again, let's keep things simple, let's keep things concise, but let's write them down in a structured manner. So there's an outline that I would recommend. Let's redo our press release. We had our future press release early on in our business case, and we presented that. Let's go take a look at it again, and let's see if we want to make any adjustments and tweak that a little bit. Let's put that back in this document. And again, let's just revisit and be clear with who the target market is, what the customer problem is, maybe a brief description of the solution. They don't need to know the 800 features, but just a brief description of the solution. And let's revisit the positioning statement. Positioning statement is such a powerful tool, concise and succinct way, articulates exactly what you're going to do. And this is a great point for discussion with your marketing team. So again, to revisit a positioning statement, it's for the target market. The product or feature is the best of this category for this job to be done, unlike other competitors, and our points of differentiation. So I would write that down in this document, and maybe you want to write a couple of variations of it down because this is a discussion point. Now, this positioning statement is not going to go directly into a sales play or directly into a collateral, but it's the thing that you need to agree on because all the marketing material is going to be built around this positioning statement. I would also include any customer quotes. This makes it really real and tangible for the marketing team. You may have customer quotes from before when you even started this project, when you're early on in discovery, or during the user research phase, talking about either the problem or the solution. And again, this makes it very tangible for the marketing team and potentially things that they can reuse. So now let's talk about the other teams. For sales and sales engineering, you're going to need to develop sales plays, and this may be done by the product marketing team, but you should have your input or at least review the sales plays. And sales plays should be very simple. They need an elevator pitch. They need something to get the attention of the prospect really quickly. You're going to need to build demos. In a lot of organizations, this is done by a technical marketing engineer, but demos will definitely need to be built, and everyone needs to be trained on these. So you're going to have to conduct product training sessions, and I think product management should be driving those. The same thing with customer support. They're going to need to update their documentation, their FAQs. If you have a knowledge base, that is going to be updated as well. And again, they're going to have some support training sessions held and make sure that everyone's comfortable with the product and they have an opportunity to ask questions. The next one is create a feedback loop for the go-to-market. You'll see this a couple times in this presentation. I think this is another thing that's really simple but very effective. Is when you launch a new product or feature, the amount of contacts that are going to occur coming into customer support early on, it generally is going to spike because it's a new feature and people have questions. And it may come into different groups of support, different regions, but you want to react on this very quickly with a brand new product. So a best practice is to create a distribution list, and that distribution list should include the product trio, the three amigos, the product manager, the tech lead, and the UX person, because every time something comes in initially, those three people will be able to triangulate really quickly, see patterns, and already start putting plans together and react very quickly. You don't want to wait for all these tickets to come in, then wait for a bi-weekly or monthly meeting to review them. You want to react quickly and respond to these. And this is a great way to do it. And it takes some of the burden off of customer support as well, because these tickets are going directly into the Trio. So the other groups we got to make sure we enable is professional services. If they're out there doing implementations, they need to update their implementation guide, and they also need to attend the product training sessions. They can attend ones that are also done for customer support or customer success, but they definitely need to, again, have that opportunity, look at the product and ask questions. And in customer success as well. One thing with customer success, you want them involved because you want them to have a chance to speak about, hey, key accounts. Maybe there's a key account that's up for renewal, high value accounts, our design partners. These all are key accounts that you want to make sure they actually follow up with and make sure that they're successful with this new product or feature. They want to track the health of the customer, and they also want to be able to use that feedback loop or that distribution list to quickly notify the product Trio that there are issues. Okay, post-launch, again, you want to review all those things from the feedback loop. So someone on your team should be in charge of parading those out, grouping them, doing the analysis, see what kind of patterns are emerging. You want to make sure that you have your KPI dashboard in place. Those KPIs you identified early on in the business case. So you have your metrics around revenue, usage time, task completion, all those heart metrics that we talked about. You want to make sure that's in place, and you review those early on and see how you're doing. A communication plan is also something that's quite often overlooked. So you should have a communication plan that says, hey, we're going to let everyone know that it's launched, and we're going to give an update 1 week later or 2 weeks later, and have a general cadence of communicating to everyone in the organization how this feature is doing, if there's any issues, what are we doing to respond to those issues. And then finally, you have to hold a retrospective of this whole go-to-market phase. It's really important. Again, if you're going to have continuous improvement, you have to have retrospectives, and you need that honest feedback. So maybe you sit down with everybody and have a retrospective 3-4 weeks after your GA and get their feedback. And you may give feedback from sales saying, like, yeah, we did have sales plays and the training, but I didn't think it was very good, and here's why. Or we started having this meeting way too late in the process. We really didn't have enough time to do a good job putting the collateral together, and it was very rushed. This is the type of feedback that you want because you want to continuously improve and have a much better event the next time around. So now let's go all the way back to the very first module. We talked about it's better to have a plan and adjust from that plan than having no plan at all. So you want to have this meeting and you want to have a launch plan in place. And this can be driven sometimes by product marketing. Sometimes it's driven by the Scrum Master or the project manager or the program manager. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a plan, that everyone has a visibility to that plan and everyone has input to that plan. So this is just illustrative. A real plan would be much more detailed and a lot longer than this, but just illustrative wise, you should have 4 phases. You should have an enablement phase, and you talk about and list everything that you need to do to enable everyone. So, hey, what does sales want? They want a sales play, they want a demo, they want training. Support wants the FAQ updated. ProServe wants update the installation guide. And so you list all those down, you assign them owners, you assign them target dates, right? And you track them. Then there's a launch prep phase. So is the code even complete? And notice I put QA in there for the owner. It shouldn't be engineering. It should either be QA or product management, someone who's representing the customer that's satisfied with the product, meets the needs, and it meets the quality standards. Did we put our feedback loop process in place? Everyone agrees this is the distribution list we're going to use. This is the Slack channel we're going to use. However you're going to run it, however works best for your particular organization, that's fine as long as you have a feedback loop. Hey, do we have the KPI dashboards in place? Do we know what the KPIs are? Where can I find them? All those things to think about. Then we always specifically had a sign-off section. I call this the NASA meeting. So if everyone's seen the movie Apollo 13 or any movie that usually involves a launch with NASA, they go around, right? They go around each of the stations and they have to give the thumbs up that they're ready to launch. And you should do the same thing. Is engineering, are you satisfied? Can we launch the product? DevOps, are you ready to go? Marketing, sales, are you fully supported? Customer support, etc. That way you make sure that everyone has agreed that they're ready to go. And if someone is not in agreement, everyone knows who it is and what needs to be done to remediate that situation. Then post-GA, you should plan for the GA. We had an internal announcement that was generally done by product management. You can have external announcements generally done by marketing. You should schedule a retro date. How long is the team going to continue to meet? All these things need to be put in this plan. Again, a very simple thing to do. A little structure, a little project management can go a long, long way. So the best practices for the go-to-market, I highly recommend doing that product management. It's a product marketing turnover document. You have to have these launch meetings. You need to start them early enough that everyone has an opportunity to clearly identify what they need for this particular launch. And they have input on that they get to see a draft and give the thumbs up whether it meets their needs or not meets a need. And then for launch, you need confirmation from each team. Super, super powerful, very simple, and just garners so much goodwill within the organization where all the extended teams have the opportunity to say what they want, get what they want, say whether it meets their expectations or not. And again, key driver to continuous improvement. Go-to-market anti-patterns. Launching without these confirmations, without the support from sales success, and without their thumbs up, massive anti-pattern. I've been in several organizations where I've come in, and when I sit down with customer support, understand their perspective, they'll say, we didn't even know that feature was launched. Or sales people will say, the customer knew about this before I did, and they asked me a question about this new feature. I had no answer for them because I didn't even know it was GA. These are huge problems because it's not only a problem internally, you're affecting the customer experience. And this really does not reflect on your organization very well. So you need to have those launch meetings. And again, if you have no retrospective on this whole go-to-market process, then it's very unlikely you'll be able to improve. So if you're doing this successfully, you have great alignment across the team, you have clear plans, and you're going to have a smooth experience for your customers. So next, in the final module, we're going to talk about post-GA in a little more detail. I'm going to revisit those metrics and introduce some best practices on how to maintain your product and making those key decisions whether to continue to invest or not. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please make comments below or reach out to me directly, and look forward to seeing you in the next module.